Hi, my name's Peyton and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, a little bit about me. I've been sharing my health journey for the past year. I've been experiencing just unknown things, diagnoses that I didn't expect, and navigating that. And so I've really been through the trenches. So I'm just trying to share what I've been going through. If that's helpful for anybody else, I know I was really in tune with my health before this all happened, or so I thought. I have my health coaching certificate, but this year has been extremely challenging for me, and it has just brought a lot of awareness to things that I really had no idea about. So today we are talking about how I naturally lowered my cholesterol by 21 milligrams. So no statin, truly just a lifestyle change. Again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse practitioner. This is not professional medical advice. This is simply me sharing what has worked for me, my body, my lifestyle, and if you want to try it out, so be it. But just know, don't take this as any sort of medical advice. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and share how I did that. So I got my cholesterol taken in November, and it was 207 in November, and when I got it taken in March for my checkup, it went down to 186. So when I found out that I had high cholesterol, this is my total cholesterol. There's a lot of things that you can look at. You can look at your HDL, your LDL, but just looking at my total cholesterol, that is pretty high. For someone that is 27 and I am very active, I work out, I eat pretty healthy. It was just, surprising, a shock factor that I had that high of cholesterol with the lifestyle that I live. I was already doing a lot, but just something to note, I was predisposed to this high cholesterol. It runs in my family. My dad has it, my grandfather has it. A lot of people in my family have high cholesterol, and there are a lot of things in, medical diagnosis and your health that are not genetic, but sometimes you just have genes that carry these things. So you have to figure out a lifestyle that is going to work with the genes that you have. So me being prone to high cholesterol, I knew this was a possibility. So I got the function wellness test, and this was a full body exam, like the 100 plus biomarkers. And you don't have to do anything like this. I want to go ahead and start with that because a lot of people think that, oh, well, you just have this access because you paid this much money and this is not open to anyone. They take your cholesterol at your yearly physical. So this has been going on for years where my cholesterol has been going up slightly, but not enough for a doctor to open up that conversation about it because there wasn't much they can do if they can't give me a statin. If you have a really good doctor, they might sit you down and talk to you about your cholesterol, that it's going up, and there are things that you can do with your nutrition. But a lot of doctors just don't do that because they don't have nutrition experience, and for them, it's statin or nothing. So it wasn't to the point where I needed a statin, so that conversation was not had. So I didn't even look at those results. So that's, on my part as a patient, I should be looking into my blood results and seeing if there's a trend. So I did not do that, but I did the function wellness exam, and that is when they flagged it for me, and I talked to someone about my high cholesterol. So again, you don't need to be doing anything like that. You can, if you've had a recent physical, if you've had recent blood work, go look at that right now and see what that looks like. And what might be normal for me might not be normal for someone else, and vice versa. So you don't need to pay an extreme amount of money to find out if you have high cholesterol. You can even just go to a lab and get that done. You can go to LabCorp, order a test, and check your cholesterol. I think it's pretty affordable. With that being said, what I noticed as over the past 5 years, my cholesterol was going up slightly. And so it's not like anything super dramatic. There was no big jumps, but it was going up slightly. So there was some lifestyle changes that I decided to make in the past 6 months of my life, which this is going to be controversial take, but I cut back on red meat, and I know that there are a lot of people in the health industry that post about red meat and that you should eat it multiple times a day and live off of red meat, and to each their own. It might work for some people, but I think that was something that was just not working for me because of my genetics. So I cut back on red meat. I used to eat it about 5 to 7 times a week easily. If not more, I would find ways to consume it. Sometimes I would have it for breakfast. I would meal prep it for the week. So I was eating it every day for lunch, and I would have it a few times during the week for dinner. So I was consuming a lot of red meat. And as much as I like it and I feel like it does my body well, it was giving me a lot of energy. I didn't have any problems, but with the high cholesterol, it was a silent call of maybe I should just pull back on the red meat. So I cut that back and integrated things like salmon, tuna, shrimp, chicken, pork, things that I just wasn't eating a lot of. I decided to just bring that back into my diet. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just really enjoy eating beef. So I just decided to bring that back into my diet, doing a little bit more of ground turkey and things like that for my meal prep, and just finding a healthy balance. I still consume red meat, but definitely have just taken that back a lot. I also removed gluten within the past few months. And as much as I love gluten, I don't think that it's bad. I don't put it in the health category of, oh, you shouldn't eat gluten. I think gluten is great for you if your body likes it and it fits into your lifestyle. That one really stung because I started making sourdough a year ago and I've gotten really good at it. I just really enjoyed the process of making sourdough. But with this, I think I just really wanted to give it my fair shot to see if I could just bring down my cholesterol and what was going to work. So I just stopped eating it within the past few months, and I have noticed that my body just feels a little better. It's not anything significant, but I noticed that I don't feel as bloated. Not that it's like I eat gluten and I'm intolerant and I get really bloated. I think it's just I eat a lot of bread and I justify it because it's sourdough and I tell myself that it's healthy, so I eat more than I should of it. And so maybe the bloating was just gaining a little bit of weight, but you know, removing it all in all, I think it's just contributing to what's working for me and my body right now. Another thing that I did was add more fiber into my diet. And I'm very good about eating my vegetables and eating these things, but just being more aware of it, being more intentional and making sure it's going to be in every meal, sneaking it into my smoothies. That was something that I just really didn't care for before because, you know, why do I want spinach in my smoothie? Now I just do it so I can make the extra effort to really give this the full go around. And so some things that I started adding is just more oats, doing overnight oats, chia seeds, throwing that in my yogurt bowls, my smoothies, my oatmeal, eating berries every morning, spinach, sweet potatoes. I love sweet potatoes. These are just an easy thing to incorporate in my diet too. But fiber really helps your body eliminate the cholesterol. And this was like an easy decision that just ultimately I think made a big difference for me. Another thing is prioritizing daily movement. I work out almost every day. I work out 6 days a week. But on top of that, you know, sometimes strength training isn't just going to be enough. Working out at the gym for 60 minutes a day is great, but you also really need to, you know, I think my body needs this. I need to get my daily steps in. I can't just lift weights for 60 minutes and then call it a day and that's it. I'm really being more intentional about getting my daily steps in, and my goal is 10,000. I've been doing a lot more than that and just choosing to walk places. I live in a city, so it's easier for me to do that, but just choosing to walk to a further coffee shop to go work for the day, or on my lunch break, instead of watching a show or reading or whatever it is, or scrolling on my phone, just making sure that I am outside walking when I can. I think that is also something that is contributing to my overall health, not just total cholesterol. I don't even know if it's contributing to that, but overall I feel so much better. Managing my stress, I think this is a big one for cholesterol. When your cortisol is high, it affects a lot of your body. So figuring out a healthy way to manage whatever is stressing you out in your life. So for me, I was working in a very needed, I guess just like a time-consuming, important job a few months ago. And it was something that was emotionally, physically draining me. And although it was very purposeful, I knew for me that it was causing me chronic stress. So shifting away from that, overall, my health feels so much better, but I think it really helps bring inflammation down as well. And I know it's something that you can't physically see in your body, the stress and how it takes a toll on you. You can see what it looks like when you don't get enough sleep. You can see what it looks like, you know, when you're just not eating well, but stress does take a toll on your body. And then most importantly, I believe that these supplements for me worked really well. And I have been taking red yeast rice. And so I take these twice a day, every single day. And then I've also been taking fish oil. So these are the brands. I like this Now brand. I like NutriCost. Find something that's quality and find what works for you and works with your budget. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but I read a lot about what helps naturally bring down your cholesterol. Now again, if you have really high cholesterol to the point where you need a statin, these things might not work for you because it might be to the point where you need medical intervention or whatever it is, but it's worth a shot to figure it out to see if there's anything that you can do to heal your own body in a natural way. That's my personal belief. If my body can heal itself, I want to give it the full chance to do that. And if that's not going to work, then there's medical intervention. But I want to set my body up to do the things that it's supposed to do naturally. Slowly make these changes, and don't just make the changes, but follow up and get blood work to make sure that your cholesterol is actually going down. Don't just make these changes and assume that it's going to work, because again, everybody is different. Let me know in the comments if you tried any of these or if you tried other techniques that worked for you. Let me know. And again, if this was helpful, make sure that you subscribe to my channel so that you can get notified when I post my next video.